Of course, it's Wednesday for you, but it's Tuesday for me still. We're going to open up this whole can of worms, starting with the TikToker and deputy U.S. Marshal injured in South LA shooting. Of course, I've seen aerial footage of this already. Not of the actual incident, but afterwards. And of course, ICE. Already shooting more cops than Antifa. So right now, doing pretty good. Got a nice high score going. Let's see how the victory goes.
And there's a lot going on across Southern California. We've been following breaking news after ICE agents opened fire during an arrest in South LA. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. We're also counting down to the NBA tip-off right here on NBC. Want to give you a live look at Crypto.com.
Fuck your NBA bullshit. There's bigger shit going on. Fuck the distractions.
First, let's get to that breaking news out of South LA, where 2 people were hurt after a shooting involving ICE agents.
The man agents arrested was shot. A U.S. Marshal assisting with that operation was injured.
NBC4's Cameron Dickerson has been at
Good job. Good job, ICE. Fantastic training.
the scene all morning long. Karma, there's a lot to digest here. If you can walk us through it all, please.
Yes, and at the center of it, a federal agent and a man known for documenting ICE activity on social media are both injured after that immigration action earlier this morning. We're just south of downtown LA on 20th and Maple, and hours later, there's still a pretty major scene here behind us. That is an FBI vehicle that you're taking a look at right there. Because an federal agent was injured, the FBI is investigating how all of this unfolded. The FBI Rapid Evidence Response Team, is currently processing the scene. We want to show you some other video from earlier. This is video of part of the incident showing federal agents surrounding a car and pulling someone outside of that car. This video comes to us from a witness who recorded it from across the street. You later see the person at the center of all of this up against a wall, and officers appear to take off that man's shirt, and firefighters arrive. You can hear.
They said he rammed his car. Where's the accident at? Like, didn't they say the TikToker hit the car? I mean, I know ICE has already fucking hit people's cars and then said, oh, we got struck. Like, well, no. They've already lied about shit like that before.
Hear the man shout as they give him medical attention. According to the Department of Homeland Security, this began as a targeted traffic stop. They say the man at the center of it is in the country illegally and has previously escaped custody. Per DHS, as they tried to pull that man over, they say the illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and began ramming the law enforcement vehicle in an attempt to flee.
I can't really fucking blame him. I don't blame him for trying to flee with something that's metallic and has wheels and can actually speed up. They fired defensive shots and it ricocheted. What did I mean, nobody really watched this, but what did I say in the last morning news? I literally said this is going to escalate. What if this is a kid that got ricocheted and shot? What if it was a fucking kid? You know, an elderly person, maybe. Maybe an elderly person. People would be upset about that and might react the same way, but a child. I'm telling you, they're gonna fuck up one of these times just like this, but it's gonna affect somebody else. And it's gonna be a bigger issue. Especially if it's children. Once you get children involved, people's emotions get ramped up. And these are neighborhoods they're shooting in. It's not like they're shooting in fucking plain fields and risking a cow getting shot or a horse, right? This time as a marshal, I bet you he'll think twice working with ICE again. They shot and it ricocheted. So maybe they're piss poor shots as well. Maybe that's part of it.
Fearing for the safety of the public and law enforcement, our officers followed their training and fired defensive shots. The illegal alien was shot in the elbow, and one law enforcement officer was shot in the hand by a ricochet bullet. Both are in the hospital. Now, we have not independently confirmed that account. Outside the hospital, however, we met Isabel Garcia, the girlfriend of the man who was shot today. She says he's Carlos Richard Parias, also known as Richard LA on TikTok. People turned out in support of him at the hospital, and she confirms that he is undocumented and said he was shot in the arm during this incident. Richard Olay is known for documenting ICE activity in the community. A friend of his who does similar work says he doesn't know Richard to be violent.
I would imagine he's not violent. Think about it, right? Okay? He's been here watching ICE this entire time, filming them, putting it on TikTok. Obviously, he's not going to do it. He's not going to harm ICE, especially while filming. You know, there are some people out here who post content that do have common sense and aren't going to do shit like that. And their main purpose is to document and archive a lot of things, and that's their main goal. I can see him not wanting to hurt anybody, and like I said, he was trying to flee. I promise you, if that dude would have hit anybody, he would have been very traumatized from it. Probably not ICE, because, you know, fuck ICE. They're coming after him. But I guarantee you his intention was not to run anybody over. His intention was to, like they said, flee.
Richard is not a person that take it dangerous or in civil person, for sure. And I got in the moment, I don't know why he's scared. Richard at the moment looked the federal agents, or I don't know why in this situation what happened. A TikToker, a person with digital media going to every situation, it's very important. But right now it's very important, but it's dangerous, no?
What we know about Richard is he's a very pacifist man. He's very calm. A lot of the
And again, like, when I seeing those cars in there, he must have not have fled pretty far at all. Like, he was boxed in. He must have not got very far. Look, call me biased. I really don't care about this. I don't like ICE. I hate ICE, in fact. I'm never for Gestapo in any form. So yeah, I'm going to be biased towards ICE and not believe a goddamn thing they say because they're unlawful in the first place. Them being in our cities and shit should not be happening. Them walking around with guns and shooting in our neighborhoods should not be allowed. Tear gassing cops even should not be allowed. But along with, you know, tear gassing these fucking protesters and civilians, like, they shouldn't be here. The National Guard especially shouldn't be here. But ICE most definitely should not be in these streets. Like, really, I guess it just comes down to, didn't your mama tell you not to play in the fucking street? That seems like a personal problem to me.
police officers here know him. They know that he's very respectful. In fact, the city of Los Angeles has awarded him for the work that he does in the community. So we find it very odd what's being said about him.
That was an attorney who was working with the family of the man who was shot. He says he has not been able to personally speak with Parias yet. The U.S. Marshal Service confirms it was one of their agents who was injured in all of this. They say they expect him to be okay, and that Marshal status is listed as stable. And there's one other thing we want to show you, Annabelle and Michael, before we go, is where we're located. We mentioned that we're on 20th and Maple, and just across the street is a school. All of this unfolding just...
What? Right there! Right there! One of them kids could have been shot at. A teacher could have been shot. A fucking school. Are we waiting? Are we waiting for children to be shot by ICE? Is that what we're waiting for now? Because I don't know what we're waiting for with all these mass shooters who kill the kids anyways. I don't know what we're waiting for with that. We seem to be waiting for something. Maybe divine intervention. But are we waiting for ICE to do this before we do anything? I need to know. I need to know. Am I supposed to be mad now, or am I supposed to be mad after they kill somebody? Which, I mean, to be honest, where's those people from Alligator Alcatraz that went missing? And I would almost guarantee you that a bunch of these these fucking migrants that are put on these airplanes were flown over the ocean, and just somehow, don't know, that the back compartment could have just opened up and a bunch of migrants could have accidentally fell into the ocean. I would bet that happens already. Or are we waiting for a child to not be able to go home because ICE to get mad? Is that what we're waiting on? Oh, shit, God.
Before 9 a.m., there were a lot of people out and about, and it did cause a lot of concern in the community. Another thing to address, LAPD. Those are probably the most visible officers people saw out and about today, but LAPD says they were only here to handle things like traffic and crowd control. This was not their operation. Reporting live, I'm Karma Dickerson.
This is disgusting. Okay? Disgusting. Just fucking disgusting, dude. Like, no, if I lived in this area, my kid's not going to school for a long time. Not until we figure this shit out. That was too close of a call, in my opinion. Nope. Alright, well, let's try to wash that disgusting taste out of our mouth with more disgusting taste. Grijalva still has not been sworn in. And Grindr Johnson is allowing that.
I think this is the 5th time that a member of Congress has tried to get some recognition in order to have me sworn in. Today is day 28 since my election. And I think that it's really important that we appreciate that 812,000 Arizonans do not have representation in Congress. My dad passed away.
They're aiming for that. By the way, they're going to make sure that all of us that think this way, that at least have any sort of common sense, have no representation. Do not forget the Voting Rights Act. They're still trying to go after that. And again, listen up. Listen up. Hey. If they come for the migrants, and then they go for the black folk, they're going to go for the poor white folk. But remember that. Because us natives, they'll find a way to get rid of us in the mixture of the migrants, the black folk, and the poor. Well, they'll in between all of us, in between every single group of Americans, diversity, ethnicity, whatever, they will sneak natives in, and we'll be cutting. Because remember, it was a 2016 election. They was calling us something else on these fucking polls on CNN and MSNBC or whatever, calling us something else in the ethnic polls for voting, right after the election. So they don't already consider us shit. So they'll get rid of us, in between and while they're doing something else. Don't forget, they've already been trying and probably have deported Navajos and other fucking Indians. Right? So they're going to take away your representation. They're going to take away your right to vote. They're going to take away your right to complain. And then they're going to take your citizenship. They're going to take your freedoms. And they're going to start with the migrants. It always starts with the migrants. They'll do it with the black folk. The trans and the LGBT, they kind of got their own little pace going on with that. They're still figuring out their footsteps with that. But I promise you, in an ethnic scale, it always ends down. The brown paper bag scale. They'll go down it. Grijalva should have already been sworn in, but we know why.
A little over 7 months ago in March. And since that time, the offices were able to provide constituent services. It was the People's Office of Arizona CD7. On September 23rd, those services ended. And so I do not have access to provide services in district. And I think that I also don't have a budget. So this coming back and forth, is on my miles that I had stored up because I don't have a budget. I'm not able to open a lease in district. And I think that, the efforts that have been provided to me, and I'm appreciative of the administration's effort, the departments in the administration, they're trying to provide piecemeal solutions to some of the problems that we have. But respectfully, there's so much that cannot be done until I am sworn in.
Grindr Johnson said something to the effect of she should be taking calls from people in Arizona. She should be in her office, representing the people. She can't. She's now technically left that position to fill in a new position she was supposed to be sworn in for. So that'd be Okay. So that'd be like if I went from sous chef to chef, right? Not exactly equal, but I went from sous chef to chef. And my manager had to do all that paperwork, right? He had to do all the paperwork. He's already hired a new sous chef. He's got my schedule. He's already been trained. But he has not filed all the paperwork. The paperwork's filled out, but he has not filed it for the change. And then he says, well, there's this big manager convention. I'll be gone for like a month, maybe more. Yeah, well, I wish I could. I wish I had the time to do it. That's what Grindr Johnson's doing here. That is literally the same thing. She cannot do her job. She left that job technically. That position is no longer hers. It's probably fucking filled. Like, I'm not from Arizona. I don't read up on all their shit. But I guarantee you that position's been filled. Or it's about to be filled. But again, once you leave that position, you can't just hop in it. And again, like I said, it's not exactly an equal comparison here. But that's basically what it is. Telling her to go back to doing her job, in the meantime, she can't do that job anymore. Like, I'm not at the crisis unit I used to work at. But let's say if I fucking got promoted to some other part of the unit or some sort of corporate role, they take away my email. They take away my ability to walk through the unit, like with a badge and all that shit. And they tell me to go back to work while they're playing around and not getting my paperwork done, not promoting me, not bringing me up, but tell me to go back to doing my unitly duties. I don't have access to my email. I don't have access to clock in here. I'm not on the payroll here. My badge doesn't work here. I don't have access to. How am I supposed to do my job when I don't have access to the things to do my job? Make it make sense, Grindr Johnson.
And so every moment that passes that I'm not able to provide constituent services or be a voice for Arizona, I can't bring the issues forward that they sent me here to do. And so while, we're getting a lot of attention for not being sworn in, I'd rather get the attention for doing my job. And I can't do that right now without being sworn in. And it's just notable to continue to mention, there were 2 Republican members that were sworn in less than 24 hours from the date of their special election, April 1st. They were sworn in less than 24 hours, April 2nd, on a pro forma session. It's not unheard of for this speaker to do that.
It is for Democrats, though. It is for anybody who is not a conservative or riding Trump's shriveled orange dick. It's just that simple, and she knows it.
And so I continue to ask for us to have the same opportunity, and for the 812,000 people in Arizona that do not have a voice right now to have the opportunity to have me here.
Oh, boy. Democracy dies, and we all watch. We are going to take this little short clip here and go over it real fast. The age of Democratic politicians. It's time for the old guard to let go. Say it again for the people in the back, please.
One of the arguments is that part of the problem with the Democratic Party is that the leadership is just too old. That they're just too old and their lives are just not...
It connected enough. You're right. It's not just that. And I guess maybe the connected enough part has to do with it. But they are corporate shills. They are there for the lobbyists. They are there to take money. They are there for the corporations. Period. So, it's not that they aren't connected. It's that they choose to not be connected. That's the problem after a while. And see, this is one of those things where we all should, from the get-go, should have been a lot more involved in our politics. And it's always been irritating to me when people say, I'm not political. I don't like politics. I don't like politics either. I really don't. I hate it. I'm only doing this now. I'd rather be doing gameplay shit. I'd rather be doing more goofy sensitivity training stuff. But I feel it's my responsibility as somebody who has a mouth and a microphone and some internet connection as resi as it is, to say something. The Democratic establishment, these politicians have left us behind. Chuck Schumer's out there writing strongly worded letters, getting us nowhere. We've had feckless Democratic representation for so damn long. And maybe Bernie wasn't the key. Maybe Bernie is a stepping stone, you know? Maybe Bernie wouldn't have been a good president. We don't really know that. We don't, because we're not in that timeline. We don't have that reality in front of us. So we don't know if Bernie would have been a good president or not. And to be honest with you, a Democratic socialist in such a split, it's mostly conservative all the time. It's definitely our politics are to the right way more than they need to be. Way too centrist. The Democratic socialist being a president, everybody would have fought against him. So we don't know how that would have gone, to be honest with you. But the fact is that when people like Bernie started speaking out, the strong reaction from these career Democratic politicians, these corporate assholes who are not connected enough, as she says, that reaction should have said, oh, they're scared of something. They're scared of something, but what is it? They're scared of us, the American people, actually being represented and having something to say and being heard and having progress and shit. So, I mean, it's not really that they're too old and not connected, because too old is definitely a damn issue. Way too damn old for this. Secondly, not that they're not connected enough, they are choosing to not be connected because of that sweet, sweet cash. That sweet, sweet capitalistic cash. They keep milking it out of all of our udders. They're all fat cats. All of them.
Connected enough to the daily realities of most Americans. Do you think that's fair?
I do think that we need young people to become politically active and to run. I say this all the time. I think that we always need new blood. We always need new voices. And I think it's important I want to see that. And I think it is time for the old guard to let go, right? I think what would be wonderful to see is, hey, let's train, give experience to younger people so they know how this works.
Well, they have been kind of doing that. Like, back in the day, they've had new career Democratic politicians and they've groomed them to be this way. I remember distinctly there's a video of Nancy Pelosi like just wagging her finger in AOC's face. I distinctly remember this, and I don't think it's a fever dream. They have been training them like this. You don't want these people training them anymore. We need younger blood in there for sure, but I don't trust any of these crypt keeper looking ass corporate pieces of shit to teach the right lessons on how to defend democracy and defend the will of the people. They've never cared.
And give them advice and help them get elected, help them get into places where we can have diverse and various different voices.
There's a benefit to having a two-party system.
Because of the shutdown, millions.
We are now going to talk about the great government shutdown and what it's doing to people who are on SNAP. The so-called welfare queens, as these dipshits have always put it. And I've always found it funny that maggots always say that, but they are one of the first ones to cry about not getting food stamps. It's a sense of jealousy to me. These people want food stamps. They want food stamps, but they can't get it. They can't get it. For whatever reason, they can't get it. Whether it be income, it's always income, to be honest with you. To be fair, people should be able to get SNAP. SNAP income should be lower. Like, you should be able to get more SNAP based on some of the inconsistencies in SNAP and the income requirements is ridiculous. Okay, we all deserve to be able to fucking eat. We all deserve to eat. Now, again, there are a lot of people who make enough money, you don't need SNAP. But there are still plenty of people that work their ass off 40 to 50 hours a week. They got medical bills, they got kid things, they got family issues, they got cars, they got bills and general things like that. It still take up a shit ton of their money. People are working 3 jobs just to survive. You shouldn't have to work 3 jobs to survive. If you work 3 jobs, it's because you want to hustle and make some extra money. That's what that should be for. And honestly, you shouldn't really have to hustle that much to make extra money and make your shit meet. You know, I know, I'm not going to go on too much about this, period. SNAP benefits are getting cut. This is for Oregonians, but keep in mind, not just Oregonians, this is for every state. All states are probably getting their shit cut off next month. Thanksgiving going to be really tight for a lot of people.
Because of the shutdown, millions of Americans are going to miss out on SNAP benefits.
That's because those benefits won't be paid out until the government reopens. Joe Ranieri joins us live from Northeast Portland, now outside the Oregon Food Bank. And Joe, thousands of Oregonians are going to be impacted by this in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, very nervous and very alarming to a couple of people I spoke with earlier today. Now, tomorrow, Stephanie, will mark 22 days since the government has been shut down. And now millions across the country are worried about when they could be receiving their SNAP benefits, especially as we get closer to November. And some of the local food banks I spoke with earlier today are also prepared to see more of a demand.
One thing is definitely going to cause more people to be upset. See, they didn't like the No Kings protests. They didn't like the second one. They damn sure didn't like the first one, but they certainly did not like the second one. You seen what they were saying about the people who were there. They did not like it. Imagine a No Kings protest when majority of those people, if not all those people, are starving and hungry. And I don't mean like emaciated and you can see their ribs and their bones. No. I mean like they're hangry. Probably a little bit more than hangry. These people have been worked to death. They're starving. They feel screwed over. And I promise you, you cannot add the stress of not eating, the stress of being able or barely being able to survive and pay your bills. You cannot add the stress of all the medical necessities that we need, bills and whatever. You cannot add the holidays such as Christmas, Thanksgiving. You cannot add fascism and authoritarian on top of all that other shit and mix it in and expect not people to lose their damn minds. This is what's going to happen. People are going to get hungry and you're going to see a lot more people in the streets. You might even see more crime because crime comes from necessity. Most people commit crimes to get money, either for drugs, for food, for bills, whatever. Most people ain't robbing you to rob you. And if they're robbing you to rob you, it's either because you flaunting too much and you need to stop flaunting, or 2, it's because there's something wrong with them. But a majority of the time, crime is committed out of necessity. Most people do not think, I want to rob this dude just to rob him. Most people don't think like that. They put that shit in the TV and movies. Most people who break into your house at night are not trying to hurt you. Most of the time, they are trying to steal your shit, rob your shit, so they can pay for their dope habits, or they can pay for their food, or whatever has it, okay? So let's not pretend like this is not going to happen, because it's going to get worse if they continue to take away, especially the poor people's food. Especially the poor people's food.
Just as quickly as shelves get stocked at the Sunshine Division.
These are, the families we see. It's moms with kids, it's senior citizens on a fixed income, it's veterans, it's individuals with disabilities, people that can't work full time.
The items are quickly taken off the shelves to get distributed to families in need. And starting next month, there will be even more of a need.
This is not caused by trans people. This is not caused by the black person down the street. This is not caused by the migrant who came in here, quote unquote, illegally. This is not the gay person This is not caused by Disney's wokeness. None of this was caused by wokeness. DEI, none of it was caused by any of this. None of it was. What is causing this is having a authoritarian fascist government wanting complete control of everything, and then a feckless Democratic Party barely putting up a fight all the way up to this point. Now, granted, we should not be funding the government. We should not be funding ICE doing this shit. We shouldn't be giving them more money. Honestly, in my opinion, we probably all need to be boycotting our fucking taxes. Because to be honest with you, as an American citizen, I'm tired of seeing American citizens being gaffled up, but I'm also tired of seeing fucking innocent people in other countries be destroyed, and also handing over our bombs and weapons to Israel. Kind of getting tired of that. So, to be honest with you, wake the fuck up. The trans person, the drag queen, the gay person, the black person, the immigrant, none of them are causing the food stamp shortage. None of them are causing the food shortages that are to come. None of them are causing the rising of prices. Inflation. None of them are causing it. Pay attention to who is.
Unfortunately, this summer, we all of us heard that benefits likely are going to be reduced for a lot of Americans next year.
What Kyle Kamberg, the executive director of the Sunshine Division, wasn't prepared for was that nearly 800,000 Oregonians, about 500,000 with kids, won't be getting their benefits starting in November.
When that amount of money ceases to exist for the community, we really don't know what those families are going to do other than they're going to turn to places like Sunshine Division.
Sammy Teo, a public policy advocate with the Oregon Food Bank, said this: the federal government shutdown continues with no clear end in sight. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports if the shutdown lasts past October 31st, November SNAP benefits and WIC benefits may be disrupted. Teo went on to say that the Oregon Food Bank Services remains open to ensure food is available for everyone who needs it.
They are going to run out at a certain point. They're not going to be able to keep up with demand. And that's not their fault. They only get so much. But see what happens when you have this whole government shutdown thing fucking up everything. You have it. This is what happens when you have the government shutdown being uncontrollable, unnegotiable, and I'm not even trying to predict the future. I'm just telling you it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you know what's really cool? It's a bunch of people right now are thinking, I should be doing a garden. Now you got to wait till spring. You got to get through winter. You got to get through Thanksgiving and Christmas. Start growing those vegetables. Let this be a wake-up call to everybody. We all need to start doing our own gardens so we at least have vegetables to eat. And you know what? If they keep it up, it won't just be the Haitians that eat the cats and the dogs. It'll be all of us. And that was a lie. Soon we'll all have to eat cats and dogs. Get ready for it. Do you want your cat meow or later?
Christina Russell is one of the thousands of Oregonians who is waiting to see what's going to happen next month.
We got community here, the pantries, like you said, and then family members help out once in a while.
The mom of soon-to-be 5 kids receives about $1,000 a month from SNAP, money that quickly disappears.
Shockingly, yeah. Especially because the kids, they grow and they have to constantly eat or snack.
Families and pantries are trying to figure out what to do the longer the shutdown goes.
We're not funded federally. We're not a state of Oregon funded charity, so we rely on the local community.
And what happens when the community has nothing to give? What happens when the community is just hoarding everything for themselves, not out of greed, but out of survival and necessity? This is not long division. This isn't rocket science. And I don't think people are truly prepared for what's about to come. I don't think people are ready for what's about to come. Good morning.